to America at its Best. I'm your host, Brooke Medina. I'm the Vice President of Communications here at the State Policy Network, and we are coming to you from New Orleans at State Policy Network's 33rd annual meeting. And today I have the distinct pleasure of Governor Kim Reynolds from Iowa joining us today. So Governor Reynolds, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, it's an honor to be with you, so thank you for the opportunity.
Well, we are so excited to have a conversation with you. You are Iowa's first female governor. You have held elected office in a number of capacities over the years, and so we are delighted to get to hear from you, your experiences, and just learn more about what Iowa's working on, as well as how you work with other states and the importance of the network. So Governor Reynolds, thinking about just how your time in office has been shaped and how you've worked with the people on your team to really affect change for Iowans, what are some of the top priorities that you focused on over the years?
Well, I'm really proud to say that one of the things that really, I think, formed my vision and really my purpose as governor of the state of Iowa is going through COVID. And so I came out of COVID just a completely different governor. I think Iowans saw a different governor. I was stronger, more confident, with a vision and a purpose, just based on some of the experiences that we've seen. And so one of the things that became completely obvious when I was going through COVID was just the layers of bureaucracy and how that affects really serving Iowans in an efficient and effective manner. And then education policy, that has been one of my top priorities. So really what I focused on as governor is making the state more competitive with the tax environment, education reform, putting parents in charge of their child's education, and looking at how we can deliver services in a more efficient and effective manner with our realignment bill that we started in 2023.
Yeah, so in Iowa, I know that you all have expanded to universal school choice. You've also increased public school funding. So can you tell us a little bit more about how that's affected and improved the education landscape in Iowa?
Yeah, well, first of all, I think, just seeing how some school districts responded during COVID and keeping the kids out of the classroom and not getting them back in the classroom. I'm proud to say in Iowa in August of 2020, 80% of our schools were open and had the kids in the classroom. And so, but the kids that weren't there were the ones that really needed the services. And I think it really gave parents a front row seat as to what was happening with the educational system, and it wasn't good. And so we set out to really transform it, and that meant universal school choice. I tried for 2 years to get that through the legislature. We'd actually gotten it through the Senate in both years, only to have it held up in the House. And so I was either going to, continue to do the same thing or take action and try to make a difference. And so I did something I typically wouldn't do, but I ended up primarying 9 of my Republican colleagues in the Iowa House. One of them was the chair of the Educational Committee, and he was not in favor of it. We were successful in flipping 8 of the 9, and the 9th one was on board the next day. And with that change, we were able to go in and start working with legislators to put in a bold universal school choice program. We phased it in over 3 years, boldest in the country. And we brought the legislators in. We started talking about that. In the condition of the state, I dropped the bill. We went up on air with the proposal. And in 3 weeks, I signed the bill into law. And so it was really important to have that timeline because these were new legislators, and the longer that it took to get the bill through, they go home, and it's not the people that support the proposals that show up at the town halls, it's the people that are against it. And so it was really important to bring them in, have them be a part of it, talk about what that looks like, get them on board, and then move it through both chambers and to my desk in 3 weeks. And not only have we, provided parents with universal school choice, but also we did open enrollment, which is public to public. We enhanced our public charter schools, and we also have had a strong homeschool educational system in the state of Iowa as well.
That's wonderful, and that speaks to the many options that when government does get out of the way, when they do empower families to be able to make the best choices for their children, there are so many options truly at our fingertips, and it's important for families to have that choice.
Well, it does, and most importantly, what that will do, because a parent is going to decide which school district is going to provide that best educational opportunity for their child to succeed. And competition is a good thing, and it was just absent in education. It drives innovation. It makes us better. And so I think we're going to see that really all ships will rise with making that change and providing parents the choice in doing that. So, 90% of our kids are going to go to a public school, so we want those strong as well. And I think this will help drive that excellence in education.
Yes, absolutely. And all Iowans benefit from that. And we've seen that across the country, that the more governors and state lawmakers show that backbone of making sure that they're going to bat for students and families, then that rising tide does lift all the boats of these children. So you mentioned primarying some of your Republican colleagues in the legislature. So I've got another question, which is, how do you keep your team grounded during this change of political pressures and policy levers that get pulled? Sort of what's your North Star, and how do you guys stay focused?
Well, first of all, it's really important to surround yourself with a really good team. I've got a lot of great ideas, but if you don't have a great team that's ready to go to bat and implement it, it doesn't get done. And I have a bright, innovative, hardworking group that are really doers. And I was laughing earlier. A couple years ago, I said to my chief of staff, how many bills do I? She asked me how many bills I thought I had that we were working on a legislative session. And I said, well, I think like 6 or 8, and it was 20. So it's really important that you have a team that's capable of making things happen. The other thing that we do that makes it effective is we do the work on the front end, and that's really important. So we do the research. We work with the stakeholders. We work with the allies. We find out where the issues might be and make sure that we have the answers to those issues going into it, so that we're prepared for the battle. And unfortunately, sometimes it is a battle when you're trying to really do transformative change in the way things have been done. And the other piece of that is I can't get anything to my desk if I don't have a relationship with the legislature. And so I've worked really hard with both the House and the Senate. Even though we did primary, we work really hard in building relationships and helping them understand what we're trying to do, asking for input, things that we've missed in the bill, so that they have the information that they need, and that they can take that to the citizens that they represent. And ultimately, then it gets it through both chambers and to my desk. And so that's been a successful model as well. And then I meet with leaders every week, the leadership every week. And, sometimes we don't say much. We sit there and look at each other. But I think it's important that you continue to meet and have those opportunities to have those conversations, and just make sure that we're all on the same page when we're trying to really work on what we told Iowans we were going to work on.
Yeah, that's great, and you've really articulated that in-state collaboration. And one of the things that SPN does is advance cross-state collaboration by convening leaders from across the country at our annual meeting, but also throughout the year. And so can you speak a little bit to that importance of cross-state collaboration and learning from others that are in their own test labs of liberty?
Oh, yeah, no, it's great. We are very collaborative. A lot of my colleagues are really good friends, and, it's an interesting position. And so to be able to talk to them about issues that you're working on, disasters, to have those conversations. So we're very collaborative, but we're also fiercely competitive. And the constituents that we serve really win in that situation. And so we're always watching and seeing what other states are doing, other governors are doing, and then we take that back to our state and we adapt it to meet the needs in our state. And then we, of course, say, well, we've got the best and biggest and brightest bill of anybody in the country. And so I think that competition drives excellence again. And as I said, I think that the winners of that competition are the individuals that we serve. But it's very helpful. And as well as even your affiliates that are in our states. Iowans for Tax Relief is a great example. When we were cutting taxes, when I took office, our individual income tax rate was nearly 9%. This year we went to a flat 3.8%. Corporate was 12%. We're on the path to a 5.5%. Just to have a respected resource like Iowans for Tax Relief that can help provide the data, that can educate the legislators, that can be a partner in helping us really drive pro-growth opportunities is so beneficial to have them as part of the solution as well.
That's wonderful. And there's many politicians, particularly on the center right, who do pay lip service to limiting government. You've actually done it. You've had experience doing this, even reducing the state level cabinet agencies from, I believe, 37 down to 16.
Yeah.
So can you talk a little bit about how you prioritize that and how you really fought for that on behalf of Iowans?
Well, first of all, we've cut taxes, and if you're going to be able to sustain them, you've got to do a couple things. You're going to, of course, hopefully experience growth from a lowering of taxes, but you also have to keep spending in check. And then the other component of that is looking for ways that you can make government more efficient and effective. And during COVID, the duplication that we saw in services, as well as gaps at the same time, really forced us to take a look at how we deliver services to Iowans. And we started with my cabinet. I had 37. I didn't know some of the people that were sitting at the table that was part of the cabinet. And so, we put a lot of time and effort into researching it. We hired an outside consultant to help us look at what other states were doing to see what alignment made sense. And we were able to not only streamline my cabinet and cut 21 agencies, but we had workforce programs spread across 11 agencies. We had 186 licensing functions across 11 agencies. We had a cow-calf operation that was losing money. And so we were able to put together a 1,300-page bill, work through the legislature, and ultimately get that done, including cutting 83 boards and commissions and cutting 4,000 regulations with our red tape review.
Cutting 4,000
4,000 in 2 years. And
well done.
And we've got a 5-year rolling average and a rolling review, and so we'll continue to run the new agencies through. So we should be able to honestly to double that in the next 2 years, and they have to justify why that rule is on the books. And if they can't justify it and it's not doing what it's supposed to be doing, then it's gone. But ultimately, even in the short timeline, 18 months to 2 years, we've saved taxpayers $250 million, and we're just getting started. We're working on Alignment 3.0 this year, so there's still a lot of opportunity to do things better and to continue to save taxpayers money moving forward.
One of the biggest objections to school choice is the funding. So how have you balanced that? You've spent time cutting regulations, cutting agencies, but there have been resource reallocations to things like school choice funding. So how do you navigate that, given that emphasis on fiscal responsibility, but also ensuring that children's needs are being met on the education front?
So right now, we put about $4 billion into K-12 public education, and about another $500 million goes in from the federal level. When you contrast that to what we put into ESAs or the private education, it's about $350 million, so $4 billion to $350 million. When you look at what the average cost is per student for public education, it's about $19,000, and the average cost for private school or the ESA program is a little under $8,000. So ultimately, though, what we're doing is we're funding students and not systems, and it's unconscionable where we're at with education today when it comes to our kids. They can't read, they can't do math, they can't do science, and so we have to change things. And by putting parents in charge of their children's education, and giving them the opportunities to choose, you're going to drive those opportunities, you're going to drive competition, you're going to drive innovation, and ultimately we're going to provide a better education for our kids. And that's our future, and that's what we should be focused on. So I believe that it's not really just about the funding, it's about funding education in a smarter way and about driving innovation and excellence. And that's what we need to get back to when it comes to education.
Yeah, I appreciate that you said that. I mean, there is that fiscal side of any equation when we're talking about public policy, but there's also the reality that, what are the outcomes we're looking to achieve?
Right.
It reminds me of this quote that I heard a few years back where it was, it's not just enough to have a heart for the poor or for children. You have to have a mind for them, especially in public policy, because good intentions alone will not yield those outcomes.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to have that wisdom.
Yeah.
So let's talk just a little bit about the collaboration, again, going back to cross-state collaboration, but the network. So you have experience with SPN's local affiliate, ITR. What are some other ways in which you see groups and think tanks like ITR actually impacting public policy at the state level across the country?
Okay, across the country. Well, as I said earlier, we're very competitive. So when I was talking to the group earlier, I said if you want to be effective, what you should do, something you're passionate about, a change that you're passionate about, whether that's school choice or whatever that may be, set up a meeting with the governor and just bring up the fact that, well, you realize that Iowa has done school choice, that Alabama has done school choice, that Texas has now implemented school choice, parental freedom. When are we going to take it? When are we going to implement school choice? And just because of that competitiveness, I can guarantee you that that governor is going to reach out to their chief of staff or their team and say, hey, get me some information on this. Why aren't we doing this? We need to take a look at it. We need to get in the game. And so it really, I think it is effective because we are competitive to talk about what other states are doing it, what policies they're implementing, especially if it's something that you're passionate about. At least that's a way that you can maybe introduce it and talk about how other states are picking it up, and we want to be a part of that progress moving forward.
Governor Reynolds, can you speak to the importance of affiliates all across the country, this network that's collectively known as State Policy Network, but this broader network? Can you speak to the importance of what they do to be able to make Iowa a better state, or Nebraska or Texas?
Well, they're so important in really providing us the resources and the backup to really do big and bold things that each of us are trying to do in our states. So to have them there and to have them be a resource with data, with information, to have them talking to the legislators to help sell the policy that we're trying to implement. And we're so connected. I mean, we're actually trying to do what they want us to do. And so to have them be a partner and a part of the team and really making that happen is invaluable. And I just really appreciate it. We've had the opportunity to work with ITR and Common Sense Institute in the state of Iowa, and I know there are different affiliates and think tanks all across the state that work with various governors, and so just so appreciative. Keep providing that data, keep being that partner, and that helps us get the things done that are important to you.
Thank you so much, Governor Reynolds, and thank you for listening, for joining us, for investing in freedom, making sure that federalism is protected and defended across this country so that Iowans and Texans and Nebraskans and all Americans have the ability to live free and prosperous lives. So you can keep up with the work we are doing, with the work we are supporting across the states at spn.org. Again, thank you for investing in freedom.